Hey everybody, it's Greg LaBeouf and welcome to Awaken the Protector Within. And today I want to share with you a concept called death as the advisor.
So the big question was this: what do good people do when a society's laws and institutions fail to keep them safe from aggression and violence? How do you get through a growing number of angry, hateful, aggressive people and still remain physically, mentally, and emotionally strong and positive? That was the question, and this podcast will give you the answer. My name is Greg LaBeouf, and welcome to Awaken the Protector Within.
Hey everybody, okay, welcome back. Hey, for me it's Monday morning. It's a gloomy Monday morning. I'm not sure when you're watching this or hearing or listening to this, but it's a gloomy Monday morning. Unfortunately, my wife and I got some mixed news this morning. Her grandmother had passed away at about 4 a.m. this morning. And of course, it's sad, it's heartbreaking, but at the same time, it's also a blessing as she has been transitioning for the past week, and this ended a lot of pain and suffering. Not just for her, but for the family, the immediate family members as well. So it just got me thinking, of course, whenever we're around death, it causes us to take a second, pause, reflect back on our life, to reflect on the things that we're preoccupied with, our little worries and our little stresses. And of course, it changes that perspective and helps us refocus and really to, just have a real deep sense of gratitude. And so I'm no different. I'm in the same feeling right now. And I thought I'd jump on and share a few things. And there's a couple interesting things with this. One, death as an advisor is a concept that I was introduced to very early on in my training. And now you think from one angle it makes sense, because I was very fortunate to be around, the instructors they were working with U.S. Navy SEAL teams, and a lot of high ranking and a lot of high profile tier 1 operators and groups. And I got to be a part of this. I got to be around a lot of these gentlemen, and I've got to see a lot of stuff. And of course, it makes complete sense. But these are some very young people. These operators were, early 20s, a lot of them. And, it was very interesting to me, because I was in my early 20s at the same time, was to see how they approach death and how they use death as an advisor. Now, what do I mean by that? They have a concept that death was kind of like a shadow that was always over your left shoulder. And at first, it's terrifying. It's terrifying to think that death is always with us. I mean, we're not guaranteed any amount of time on this planet. I know intellectually we can all understand that. But when you're around individuals that are putting themselves into situations that they know, they may not come back from. Death becomes an advisor. Death is with them. And instead of that terrifying them, they embrace it. And they would often say, you'd see them, they would talk about it, but they say, it's always right there, just over my left shoulder, like a shadow lurking behind me. But again, I remember thinking in the beginning of that concept, like, that's a terrifying concept. You're young, I'm 20, I don't want to think about that. But for them, it was motivating. For them, it was liberating. For them, it was a constant reminder, man. It was like when you were with these individuals, when you were training with them, or when you got to spend a little bit of downtime with them, they were there. They were 100% there. They were present. They were in that moment. And I remember at the beginning not being able to really put my finger on why it was so exhilarating to be around them, or why it was such a different energy to be around them. But then with the right mentoring, my instructors, and these guys, these gentlemen, they helped me understand this, that life is different when you really understand, and instead of being terrified by death lurking over your left shoulder, when you use it as an advisor, you see what they would do is there'd be times when they'd be preoccupied. They'd have a mission coming up, they'd be preparing for deployment, and now they're at home and they're having that precious little time or valuable time with their families, and they're distracted. They're being pulled in a lot of different directions. Their mind's thinking about the mission that's coming up and all the things that go wrong with it, and the things that they need to do, and the planning and all of the stuff that's going on with it. They're focused on that mission and that end objective. But at the same time, they're with their family. And it's in those moments that they would just look over their left shoulder. Some of them would tap themselves on the left shoulder, and they would just be like, death is the advisor. My friends come to give me some advice. And in that moment, they would realize that, again, they're not guaranteed anything. And so all of a sudden, this allowed the same thing I'm experiencing today. It allows, when you're around death and someone that's transitioned, everything comes in, the world takes on a new perspective. It's a gloomy day today. but I'm not depressed. We lost somebody today that meant the world to my wife for sure and our families, but it's not sad. It's a reminder. It's like this gloomy day, like just you look around and you see a beauty in it that, I probably wouldn't have seen a week ago or even a day ago. You see it, and then the little worries and the stress and my to-do list and all the things that I've got to do, all of that changes and shifts. You look at your kids different. You look at your spouse different. You look at what you have so different. The swelling of gratitude is so intense, and it's liberating. And then I'm hit with it again, and I feel fortunate because I've never lost, like they radically changed my entire perspective on death and using death as an advisor. And I'm not going to sit here and say I don't fear death. That's a different conversation, but I don't look at it the same way. I've never have. And if somebody or you were to ever become aware of death lurking over your shoulder, or the fact of something you have a near miss, an accident, you have something where it reminds you of how fragile life is, don't be terrified by it. Instead, it's like it is your greatest advisor. It is your greatest ally, because it just puts you in the moment. And nothing that I've ever experienced has the ability to change your perspective that fast, to give you a deep, powerful sense of gratitude and appreciation. Just in the smallest things, and the things that we get so busy and pulled away by everything else that, I don't know. We stop seeing things for what they are. And so death as an advisor is a powerful concept. And warriors, protectors, those men and women that go into battle, that put themselves in harm's way, the ones that have been fortunate enough to have been mentored, to have had this knowledge passed down, death doesn't scare them the same way. Trust me, they want to come back safe. They want to live. They have a life and a passion for life that is massive, but they're not scared by death. They've learned to process and work through, and they use death as an advisor, not just during conflict, but they use it when they're at home with their families. They use it when, they're knee deep in work, and when they're, inundated with stress and frustration, and the same as all of us. They look over that left shoulder, they tap themselves on the left shoulder and recognize that their advisor is there reminding them that we're not guaranteed of anything. So be in the moment. Enjoy what you have. Enjoy what you do. Bring passion to other people. Serve other people. It's the greatest gift, to yourself, is to be of service to others. And just such a deep sense of appreciation today, and love and support. And so I think it was just a really cool feeling to feel that joy and to just be pulled deeper into the moment. I try every day to live in the moment. It's hard, but to really be pulled into it, it was a great gift that her grandmother left us as she transitioned early this morning. And I wanted to share with you the concept that's been used by protectors since there's been protectors on this planet, that death is an advisor. It is a great friend, and it is a great reminder. And it offers us some great gifts of gratitude, of love, appreciation, and perspective. So that's it, everybody. Listen, I thought I'd just jump on and share that. It's such a powerful, beautiful concept. And that's it. Until next time, everybody, I say this all the time, but please today with an extra deep felt, heartfelt meaning, stay safe, stay ready.
Want to awaken your protector within? If so, then head to awakentheprotectorwithin.ca and get your free Off the X training today.